Okay, how are we going? So before we do anything, we want to download Armor Toolbox for Blender. So what that allows us to do is to export our animations as well as our P3Ds and also import them. And then you want your armor rig, which is just your fucking character model that you can move around. Your character model's not a true representation of what's in game. I think you already know that, but it's a good way to just sort of figure out this general shape of your character. So let's open that. So you're presented with this when you get in. So what we want to do is we want to be able to import our P3D into here. So you want to enable your, if you haven't already, enable your Armor Tool 3's toolbox. Just tick it and then save user settings. It doesn't give you any feedback, which is shit, but it actually does save. Right, so now that we've got that, I like to bring this up because we will need this and change that to a properties. Okay, now we can hide all this stuff, references, dunk dunk. Okay, so now should have downloaded Armor samples. So we're in here. Let me just quickly go to where I've got to go to. Armor 3 samples. Okay, so we're in Armor 3 samples, add-ons, character, and then we want to open up character example.p3d. Okay, so what this allows us to do is it allows us to place our weapon on the right side of the character. So you can see there's the weapon proxy there. There's also the weapon proxy that will be here for our weapon. So what we want to do is we want to go to the proxy weapon and we want to click the proxy, browse, and then go to our .p3d file weapon. So we'll do my Austin because I want to redo the animations for that. Okay, and then click OK. So we'll change names. So there it is down there, up here, and then we want to extract the proxy. So that'll put our weapon in the game. And then now we just select them, Control C, and then we want to make a new one. We do not want to save this one just because we want to keep it as it is. And then we Control V and paste our weapon here. So we can just delete that proxy that's there, we don't need that. Okay, now we can file, save as. So you just save it as an animation version of your P3D, just so you know the difference, and then save. Yes, I want to replace it. Let me just double check that because it didn't work last time. I'll see if it works actually. Okay, so now we've got our P3D file ready. So it's file, import, Armor 2 P3D, go to our thing, click it, import, and there we are, we have it here on our character. So at the moment, this is the weapon bone. At the moment, the weapon isn't assigned to the weapon bone, so if I move that, nothing's happening. So what we want to do is we want to select our weapon and then shift right click the line, press Control P, and then bone. And now when we move the bone, we also move the gun. Okay, so now we've got that sorted. Before we start any animations, we want to go to our animation windows, and then we want to change this from dope sheet into action editor. And what this allows us to do is we're able to create different types of animations within the same file. So we've got the base, which is just your T-pose, obviously. And now we want to create a new one, and I'll call that one hand anim. And then press the F. For some reason, if you don't press the F, it's not permanent. I don't know why. So that's all sort of good to go. Now with the hand anim, you need 3 frames, I believe. So it'll be frame 0, 1, and 2. So you need 3 frames to actually do the hand anim, but it's fine, we can just do the 1. Okay, now when we start animating, make sure that the red dot is active. That way, whenever you move something, it will remember it as being a part of the animation. But if you don't press it, then every time you want to have a movement saved, you have to press I, which is insert a keyframe. But that will only work for the part that you've got selected. So if you moved everything, you just got to select everything and press I, it will insert it. And if you forget something, it's not gonna know that that's not what you wanted. Okay, so another thing as well, it's fine for these type of weapons like your Sten and your Thompson, because you've got your hands IK handle here, and this weapon bone is parented to that. So what that means is whenever this moves, this one here will follow in suit. So if I do that, bam, you see it moves together. But I can move this one individually of the hand. So yeah, like I said, it's great for that. But if you're doing it for bolt action guns, it's a bit of a pain, because then you can't actually take the hand off the gun. So one way to avoid that is just cross your right hand bone down here, and then that will get rid of that parent. Another thing you can do is, where is he? Oh, well, we'll just start with doing this for now first anyway. So since the hands are, you can either just move the hand in position if you want, or you can move the gun to position of the hand. So we want to, so numpad 1 is front, numpad 3 is for your side, and numpad 7 is for your top. And if you press control and those, it'll be the opposite. So numpad control numpad 1 is your back, control numpad 3 is your other side, and control numpad 7 is your bottom. Okay, so now let's move this into position. So I wanted to control numpad go to here. Now what you can do is you can also shift select that down there, and that will turn on any rotating handles. They're pretty good. I find them quite useful just for animation mostly. Modeling, nah, not so much. So I'm just going to quickly move this into position. Also, R allows you to rotate on the axis that you're looking, so even if you press R here, it will move in a weird way. But if you on your thing here, or even orthographic, so that's not orthographic, that's just your plane view, that won't move exactly on the x-axis. But if you press 5, you'll be exactly dead straight on that axis. So now it'll move dead straight on that axis. So now it's a tricky part. Press R to rotate. I'm gonna fucking mind blank. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. I'll try and make it parallel to the hand. And then, oh Jesus, that's not very good. But it doesn't have to be so perfect just now. We can just move it so we can move it into his shoulder. No, what am I doing? I want to move it like that, and then like that, I believe. Yeah, something like that. Okay, well we can fix that later anyway. So now for 7, I can just press G to move it as I want, just follow the mouse. Okay, now 3, hold 3 I mean control 3, move it up onto his shoulder, and then rotate outwards. Okay. Now, when you look at the character, you can sort of see that, well, you already know that you're not going to be standing up straight when you're shooting. So, let's move that out for a bit. Oh, excuse me, it's going to move. Okay, so like that. And then, when you think of the way when you shoot, you'll have, so if you're right-handed, you'll have your left leg out usually, and your right shoulder back, and then your left shoulder forward. You wouldn't stand here with your shoulders, parallel to your hip. So what I would do is I would, since he's rotate the hips, which is right-handed, so shoulders go back like that, and then probably give him a bit more of a slouch. Actually, I might make him stand up a little bit more. That's pretty big of a lean. Yeah, about there. Okay. Move this gun in a bit. Rotate it like so. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now the hardest part is always the fucking left hand, because it never fucking wants to work for me. Okay, so just G, and I'm going to move that, and now you can already see the issue that arises, is it never fucking reaches. What you can do as well is you can do that, and it makes your shoulder move out more, although it does fucking retarded things, because it is armor. I might just move his shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder back a bit more. Also, yeah, you think as well when you're shooting a gun, normally your head will be tilted a bit. So I just like to try and keep his eye level at least the same as the sides, so something like that maybe. Okay. Let's spin his hip around a bit more. Whoops, didn't want that. Oh. Bring the gun over a bit more close to his shoulder. Now, I don't think this gun's very well scaled either. I think it could be a little bit smaller. And then we can use that to move our elbow around. And you'll see it only has a certain degree of movement as well. So what I do sometimes is, instead of having your target being the left arm, I think this is the one, I'll change it to the shoulder. Sometimes that'll change the way the IK works. Did I go past it already? Left shoulder. Now that. Sometimes it doesn't make fuck all difference. Bam. No. Pole. So what that basically is doing is changing that line. That line's the line that the elbow moves around. So that's the line that the elbow moves around, and what we can do is we can change that line. So we got the pole left arm, and then we want to do right shoulder. The pole didn't look like it moved though. Sometimes as well you can use these other axes. What the fuck does that look so weird for? Oh, what are you doing to me? got this fucking shit too. So, oh, that's the arm. This one here can change the way your arm bends as well. Let me change this back to the pole. Which one was it? Shoulder? No. This. No, that's one. Okay, pole. I'm gonna put RKA. Left arm. I wonder. No, that didn't work. No. I fucking hate how the shoulders twist like that. Oh, this is a pretty fucking sloppy bloody video. Anyway, I'll just show you anyway, so you know. So what we can do here is you can either use this hand tool. So what that does is it'll make your hands open or close. So we'll move it around. Maybe. Why is it not working? Anyway, that's not working for some reason, but this one here. What the fuck is it not working for? Anyway, that should fucking make the hands close. Open and close. The only thing with that is if you close the hands and then move the fingers, once you open the hand again, like to do your animation, your fingers will be all fucked up and retarded. So you're better off moving the fingers individually. It can be a pain in the ass, but I just think you can make it look better too as well. So like for this one, I can just rotate the thumb around here, rotate over. Oh, we gotta move the weapon closer to the hand too. So bring that over. Maybe even forward a bit. I need to rotate it too. There we are. So now then I can bring this thumb around a bit more. Yeah, and I'll just curve it so it looks like it's holding on tight. So, actually I don't want to curve it that way. Which way is the red line? Let's curve it downwards a bit so it looks like he's holding on to it. So, what you can do is, well, you can just leave the finger there if you wanted to, because I've noticed in armor already like curves the front finger for some reason. Okay, so we can move this one around. You'll notice as well, when you rotate the base of the finger, it'll automatically curve the rest of the finger. Actually, I might need to pull that out a bit more. Oh, wrong button. Wrong one, I mean. What? Put it that way a bit too. Gotta remember as well with the humans, nothing's like perfectly straight either, so sometimes you put a bit of a curve on something or something like that. Okay, now I can keep rotating this around. Yes. The thing is as well, try not to move all these fingers at once because they have different, well, these two seem to be fine, but I think this one here and these rest of these have different I don't know what you call it, different direction things. Yeah, so that one twists upwards a bit. Anyway, so I'll try and put that there. So you'll see, it starts to curve inwards. So what you want to do is I'm going to go orthographic again just because it's easier to zoom in. Now bring that out just so it doesn't touch a thing. And now just like that. Now you can sort of see like that. Might bring it in a bit more and curve this down. So curve it down a bit so it looks like he's exerting a bit of force on it. So you don't want to make it look like he's just sort of holding on to it like a fucking sloppy condom or something. Yeah, do the same with the other fingers. These ones here could be twisted up a bit, so they can fit on a bit better. So just set up there, bring it out. Now I'm gonna redo the whole bloody thing, don't I? Okay, reading it. There, is adding force still? Yep, good, sweet. Now, this one here is a bit different because it's got an extra bone in it for some reason. No, maybe this one. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, pull that out. And that looks pretty good how it is just there. Now then we've got this one. Pinkies are always a pain in the ass. They never like to fit on properly for some stupid reason. Now let's make the pinky poke outwards. Huh. There we are. What does that not look right for? There we are. So now that one's... No, that's alright. Yeah, that's alright. Okay. So now we got that hand. You can, if you want to, just curve the finger in just so it looks neat. Alright, so that's pretty much the basics of your hand and him. And then you've got your thing here. So now press N to bring up this little menu here. You want to scroll down to the bottom and then you'll have armor properties. So we want to have this add frame range thing, so you can minimize the board up here, and what you want to do is add 1 to the end of the amount of frames you have. For some reason that only counts to the second last one that you have, and then steps we want to do 1 because that's how many frames, that's how many frames it steps, I think. Yeah, so if you have oh, I got it. So yeah, just change it down to 1. Okay, now that should be all good. And we're just gonna file, export, armor2/3.rtm animation, and then we can go into wherever you save it. So I save it here in the anim folder, and then I'll save it as I'll just save it as that, even though it wasn't very good. Okay, now that we've got our animation, we want to make, well, now we've got a hand anim, we want to make a hand animation. So now we add that, another one to that, and then we'll change that to reload animation. Don't forget to press the F. Okay. So now we've got this, we need to figure out how long our reload animation is going to take in total. So you can just do it in your head if you want, if you know all the steps. So you got your hand on the under the pistol grip, so you'd lift his hand up, pull it back, you'd grab the magazine, unleash it, throw it, grab a new one, pop it back in, charge the bolt and put his hand back into position. So that'd take what? 3 seconds? 4 maybe? I don't know. So what you need to figure out is the settings should already be set so that it's 24 frames per second is the usual, just your normal your normal stuff. You can change it if you want, but it's only armor. You're only getting fucking 24 frames per second anyway. So what you want to figure out is you want 24 times 3 seconds, or 24 times however long you think it is. It'll be the total amount of frames you have. So I don't even know what that is. Calculator. 24 times 3 seconds equals 72 frames. So and we want to end on 72nd frame. Does that work? No? Give me 72nd. This one, oh, numlock's not on. 72nd frame. You can, in this little menu here, you can put your mouse in there and your scroll wheel, and you can zoom in. So what we want to do is we want to insert a keyframe. I'll make sure we'll select everything, and we want to insert a keyframe here. Location, rotation, and scale is fine. And then we want to go to the very end and insert another keyframe there. Does that work? Insert another keyframe there. Yep. So it should basically, what that basically does is make sure that anything that happens in between here, it will still go back to the last animation, the last pose that happened. So really what we want to happen is start off with the hand animation and finish back on the same hand animation. So that should make it more smooth as well when you're ending the reload, going back to the hand animation. Okay, this part can be a little bit tricky, so what we can do, since we've got the reload, I've got an updated model of this with the actual reload latch on it, but I haven't gotten around to fucking doing it yet. So we've got to figure out how long. I like to do it in chunks and then do little parts in between. So what I would think here is how long is it going to take me to move my hand from the pistol grip onto the magazine. So that'd be like pistol grip, magazine. So that's what, half a second maybe? You can fiddle it around with it later if you want, but I'm just going to say half a second. So that's 12 frames it takes to get from here to here. And we're not going to worry about the steps in between. So we'll lift it up and then rotate. I'm just trying to do a real quick job here, and this is as far as the hand's going to go forward. Okay, so now I can see how long is it going to take to grab that. So it will be Yeah, that seems fast enough. And then yeah, because you've got the frame at the end, the key in. Can't even say it, the bloody key at the end of there. It will move back to position. So we've got that to there. And then if you like, you can come back in here and you can be like, you can see he's clipping here. So once he starts to clip, we can just move the. Oh, damn you. So where is he starting? It's starting to clip here. So what we want to do is move the hand back. Maybe even rotate it down. Well, if his finger's going to be in the way, but yeah, you can see he moves it back. And he's still. Move it back a bit more. And you can see, yeah, that looks a lot smoother, even though his fingers are in the way. And if you were going for, because your hands would be clasped around there. If you're going from that, you would slowly release the clamping sort of. If I could show you my hand, you'd see what I'm talking about. You would slowly release your clamping hand, and then you sort of just have like a. Like if you just drop your hand down, it'll sort of go into that sort of shape, and then you'll reach out again and grab. So you'll see like, so it'll be like a dead, like a like a limp hand, and then once you get to about here, you'd start to reach out, and then once you get to there, you'd grab on, and maybe put a few frames in there. So you can, or I can do sometimes as I go into the model. I already got like the magazine here, so I'll just select the magazine and I'll pull it out to see how far it comes out. So about to there is when it'll come out. So where was the hand? Hand was basically on that line. So I'll move it out here. Okay, so it's going to take. It's going to take. How long will that take? About 6, 7 frames maybe. 7. I'll just do 7, and I'll move that out to here. So now you can see. It's grabbed it, pulled it. Actually, what you can do is you can see he goes to here and then he grabs it. And then he, where was it? He goes to here, and then he grabs it. You can see that it just automatically goes out. What you can do is you can, I'm just gonna duplicate. Shift D. Oh well, anyway, you can go into the dope sheet editor here, just zoom in, and then you can dots at the top is basically just everything. So we want to press A to deselect, B, select and drag. So now we have everything on that line. Now we can shift D, and then we can move it across. So we want to just, yeah, that'll do. And then you can see there's a bit of a pause, so then he starts going again. I'll make it look like he's sort of more ripping it out. So let's have a good look here. So his hand over, yeah. See how it's now it's a bit more of a chug instead of a flows out. Okay, now we've got the magazine out. So where was it? Here. How long would it take my hand to go from here down to my hip? So another half a second maybe. So we'll add 12 to that. What's 19 plus 12? I can't enter math. 19 plus 12 equals 31. So we want to go frame 31, and that is where your hand would go to the hip. So I can just G, move that down there, put it here, maybe even just rotate the hand a bit, look like you're patting yourself down. There we are. Get closer, yeah, there we are, you're getting that magazine out, rightio. So now we can look at it and we can go, pull it out, grab a new magazine, and then you can do another one here if you want to, just pull it up, like pull a magazine out of the pocket and then move again back to it. And then you can just do the same thing again. What you can do if you really wanted to is you can just duplicate these areas and just put it in reverse. So it can be a bit of a tricky thing to remember, but where were we? So we've got here on the magazine, and it pops out here. So you can copy this one, put it over here somewhere, and then copy that one, put it after that one, and then copy that one, put it after the, which one was it? Yeah, copy this one. Yeah, just do it in reverse. So you copy and paste them in reverse, so it goes like that, and then he's popping it back in, and then he's putting his hand back away, and then you're back to the beginning again. Oh, this one here you can do the same thing again, except instead you end on frame 73 instead of 72. Oh, shit. One thing I forgot to mention before is you're actually supposed to add the frame range button. So that actually adds all the frames into here. So I hope you haven't done your hand anim yet. So you add all those and you add the frame range. You can also just clear them to start again if you're not right. But just add the frame range, file, export, an RTM animation, and then you just go reload. Alright, make sure the armor properties thing is ticked. And then if you want to go back to just your regular hand anim, you just simply click on it and you're back there again. Bam. And then we were at what? Animation? Reload animation. Bam. Bam. There we are. Yeah, I think that's it pretty much. It's just the hardest thing is trying to figure out how that would look if you're looking at someone else do it. So yeah, just find like everyday objects that are familiar in that shape. So like I've got some gun bluing agent here that's sort of like that pistol shape. And then you just hold on to that and you can sort of see, oh yeah, well, yeah, you can see my fingertips sort of got more of a kink in them than the rest of my knuckles. And then just stuff like that. And then yeah, just think, or even when you're putting the magazine back in, the gun's not going to be completely still. It will probably, most likely when you bump it back in, it'll probably like kink out and then back in, like you know, not that much, but like kink like that, or maybe not that fast. It's like kink and then slowly back in. Because yeah, you think with a human, when you bump something, say you bump something like that, you're going to bring it back up slower than it went down. So it's just that sort of thing you got to think about. Pain in the ass really, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope this was a help to you.